Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be featuring yet another Sinn. This is the Sinn U2, and I think it's an absolute star of the U series of watches. I got a real soft spot for this watch. I always think that it's a little bit more special than the U1. It's full of Sinn's tech, and after all, that's what Sinn is known for. So this is a bit more of a hardcore diver. Now, before I get too much into this review, I have got to say a big thank you to Ryan and team over at Francis and Gay of Coventry. If you're after this watch, they have it in stock. Feel free to pop into the shop. If not, give them a call and they'll be able to get the watch out to you. So, the U2. Now, this, I say, is a little bit more hardcore than the U1 you see most people with. In fact, you don't really see this watch so much on the forums or on, or in reviews, as it does cost more than U2 and it is full of kit. Now, the sizes of this watch, it's a 44mm, same as the rest of the U series. It's 15.5mm thick. The lug to lug is 50.5, I believe it is, and the strap width is 22mm. Now, the dial on this watch, this is where we start sort of like you're getting some big differences versus the standard U1 model. First of all, we have these sword style hands. Now, they are full of lume. I like the fact that they kind of point really finely to the minute. So that's just a personal choice, but I do like the sword style hands. Now, you've got a matte black dial. The normal minute track going around here. You do have the date at the 3 o'clock position, but if you notice down here, we have another hand. Now this is because the U2 has the Salita SW330 movement, and that has the GMT function there. Now this allows you to record 2 time zones, and it is quite easy to set. If I unscrew the crown at the 4 o'clock position here, you can see plenty of thread on there. Now that's pop free, so that now is hand winding. Oh, sorry, no, I've gone too far. This now, if I start again, that's hand winding. Pull it out to the first click. If I turn it clockwise, you will see this GMT hand move. And I think that is just so cool. I like the fact that it's the matte black to match the dial, but just the red tip. I should point out that if you turn it counterclockwise and watch the date there, that's how you control the date function on this watch. Now let me screw that back in. Now, if you're wondering how do you read the GMT time, well, first of all, obviously the standard time here is 11 minutes past 10. Now the GMT time there is 16:10. Well, 11, sorry. So that's the way you actually read it. So you've got that second time zone with, obviously when it's over here 16, it's the evening time. Now, if you might have also noticed down here, we have this little kind of white, very slightly blue round thing here. And what that is, that's part of the AR tech. Now, sometimes I've showed you on other Sinn watches where you have the copper sulfite crystals down in the lower corner of the lugs there, but on the U series, they actually have it built into the dial. And I believe instead of having one capsule, there are 2, because it's a greater, to allow for the greater capacity of the inner case of this watch. Obviously, there's a bit more I would say air, but a bit more space within the case, so you need 2 capsules. And all that does is make sure that if there's any moisture within the watch, this will capture it. And as it does, it will change colour and go to a darker blue. Now, this watch doesn't actually have any air inside the watch. It has an inert gas. Now, the inert gas is actually thinner than air, so you need more upgraded seals, and this has that. So this is just part of their tech. I should also point out that any watch with the AR tech has a 3-year warranty versus a standard 2-year warranty. Now, we'll go a little bit past this. Let's have a look at the crystal. There is more tech I'll talk about in a minute, but the crystal here, as you can see, we have a domed crystal versus the flat ones you see on a lot of the watches. It is double domed. As you can see, we have magnification there. and distortion. Now it has anti-reflective coating on both sides, and to be fair, it's not bad. It does it does sort of like stop a lot of the reflection. Now, as we come out from that, we have the standard bezel, which on all U series watches is tagmented. What that means is, another one of Sinn's tech, it's incredibly hard to scratch. You even get kits when you go to the dealers. Sometimes they'll have a kit and a screwdriver, and they actually ask you to try and scratch it. It is actually incredibly hard, and it's not something I like to try. It just doesn't feel right. It's not to say it isn't scratch proof. You can still scratch these, but you've really got to give it some to actually scratch one of these, or have a diamond available you want to try and scratch it with. So obviously you can still ding it into a door and you can dent them, but it's a lot harder to scratch. Now, another one of Sinn's techs here is their captive bezel system. So we have screws holding this bezel down and locking it down into place, which means you can't just use a normal pry tool to pry it off, as it is locked into position. Let's have a quick listen to the bezel. Quite solid. There is back play, but it does line up nice, so can't fault that. So let's whiz that around. Oh, gone too far. You know what it's like. You have to get that done now, don't you? There we go. Now, the actual material used on this is steel, but it's German U-boat steel. Now, this basically, this U-boat steel is impervious to salt water. So it is a lot more, you're never going to have any real problems with this at all. This U-boat steel is excellent. They use on the cases, and it has been bead blasted, which removes the reflective properties of the material. Now, we've got another tech coming in with this one, because this is normally on all the watches, on the U series watches, you have an option to also tagment the case and bracelet. Now, this means that not only is the bezel, but also the case and bracelet. So it should make it a lot harder to scratch. Now, you can tell if your watch has got tagmented case, because as you can see on the back there, we have this little symbol, and we also have it on the bracelet. There is film on this at the moment because it's not my watch, and that symbol indicates that it has been tagmented. It is an option. It costs a few £100s more. Would I do it? It's not something you have to rush out and do, but it depends. If you can afford it, it's not a problem, do it. But if not, don't worry. Now, underneath this, well, I should point out, it does have a solid case back, and as U2 on the front would indicate, this watch has 2 kilometers of water resistancy. That is a heck of a lot of water resistancy. So you're not going to have any problems with getting this watch wet in any way, shape or form. As I say, underneath the back here, we have a top grade Sellita SW 331. Now, I put this on the time grapher earlier, and to be fair, it was working out like with most Sinns, well within chronometer specs, but also this was pulling round about plus half a second in its single position, which is just fantastic. These watches Sinn don't advertise their watches as chronometer spec, but to be fair, they always do really well, because they do use top grade Sellita movements. Not just when companies just say they use Sellita movements is one thing, but Sinn use the top grade, so it is actually really good. Now, options. You can also buy this watch, I say, on the H-Link bracelet, or you can buy it with the Sinn silicone strap, which are really good. You can buy black, you can buy red, and also the white ones, which also look really cool. Now, let me zoom. Well, actually, you can also order this watch in full black, like I have here. So this is a long-term watch for me. I've had this watch for 9 years, and you can see just how well this has got the tagmented as well, but this has also got the black hard coating. As you can see, the symbol is there on the back there. So here are the 2 watches side by side. Now, which one would you go for? Interesting. So let me put it quickly on my wrist so you can see how it looks. there's another U series watch. This is the UX, which is the oil-filled one, which again shares the same case, but this is GSG9 model with a crown up there and a different second hand. But they do have the same case. If I put this on my wrist, I say hasn't been made for me. I'm not sized it. I should also point out, actually, just very quickly, you have a dive link extension on the back there. The clasp is absolutely solid, 3 levels of micro adjustment on there, and it's very, very slim. So if I put that on, and it gives you an idea, my wrist size is 7 1/4, and to be fair, I think it doesn't look half bad at all. I like them. So there's an interesting one for you. Would you go for it on the bracelet or on the silicone strap or full black? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, all the best. Stay safe. Bye.